I'm glad I didn't have to do a fundoscopy. Hello, my name is Kaylee Watson. I am a soon-to-be second year medical student. I am currently going to Ross University, so let's just get that out of the way. It is a Caribbean school. I chose the school mostly because of my MCAT score, because I knew the second that I walked out of my MCAT, or even while I was taking my MCAT, I knew I didn't do well, only because I was so nervous throughout the time. The questions weren't exactly difficult for me, in my opinion, obviously. It was more of the fact that every single question could determine whether or not I get into medical school, and that's what I kept thinking about. I was just like, if I get this question wrong, that means I'm not going to get into medical school. That means my life is over, la la la. So, and I wasn't expecting that, because I did do the practice exams. I did everything that I was supposed to do, really. I mean, I definitely could have studied more, but something about being in the actual exam. Anyways, so did not get the score that I wanted. I got below a 500, so there's no way you're going to get, well, I mean, there are ways, but so let's just clear the way of that. Let's just, get over that. I am an IMG. Okay, so in order to choose from the different Caribbean schools, so there are 3 big ones, I think. There's Ross St. George, and AUC, I think. So basically what I did really was compare the times that I would need to be in the island. So I believe for the other 2 schools, it was almost 2 years, or it was 2 years. And then for Ross, at least you had the option, you could stay for 20 months, which is the non-accelerated version. So you could stay, that's 5 semesters, or you can stay and do the accelerated version, which is what I'm currently doing. I am doing accelerated, so that's 4 semesters, so that's 16 months. So I started back in May, and then whenever I finish this semester, so I'll be 2 semesters in, and that's December. So from May to December was kind of like my first year, and then next 2 semesters, so I'll be done here in August. So from May of 2019 to August 2020, and then I will be done with this island. And I also am not a huge fan of books, and I know that clinicals they just sound right more up my alley, and I still feel that way. Whenever I was choosing, I just really wanted to have the option to not be on an island. I mean, it's not an island issue, and the island's fun or whatever. It doesn't matter where you're going to medical school, honestly, considering you will have your nose in a book almost all day, every day. So being on an island doesn't really make it any worse, but yeah, I mostly just wanted to get done with the book stuff. Just wanted to get that out of the way. So Ross, for that reason, was really the main reason. I just didn't want to, I was over it. I was like, I just did undergrad. I don't really want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to. And then also, the reason that I chose to be an IMG to begin with too is that I knew I wasn't going to get in. The application process is a lot. It's not necessarily that it takes a lot of time. It's just more of, you need to make sure that you have those letters of rec. And I mean, I went to UCF. That's a huge school, 60,000 people. And it's hard to get letters of rec to begin with, only because in your classes, you're going to have 1,000, I don't even know how many people are in a class, but one professor is going to have a crazy amount of students, so it's really hard to stand out. And then on top of that, you are going to have to stand out for a long time, and they're being asked by so many people to write letters of rec. yeah, I just, for letters of rec, I just like, you know, going and doing things because I enjoy it. I like shadowing a doctor because I want to, not necessarily to get that letter of rec. And really, they don't mind doing it. It's just, it takes time out of their busy schedule. And on top of that, for that gap year, I would have to be supporting myself. So I'm gonna have to be working, probably gonna have to retake the MCAT, which was horrible. Not a fan of the whole process, and I wasn't sure how I was gonna get myself out of that headspace. Now, if I took it, it's not a big deal, but that's only because I'm here now. But now that, you know, in retrospect, I'm happy with my choice, honestly. I'm happy that I came here because now I'll be an MD by the time I'm 24, which is pretty great. I mean, but the best way, in my opinion, to choose a school is to go ahead and look at the residencies that you want. So I know that a lot of people say to keep your options open. Like if you want a certain specialty, make sure that you are open to others, which is true. But I've always been a huge fan of neurology. So like you can see Cleveland Clinic Neurology Residency, I have that on my board at all times. Mostly because I just want a reminder, I've always loved neurology. Whenever I was a clinical nursing assistant, not clinical, lol, but also I was also a PCT, which is patient care technician, and for that I just always emphasized with, not emphasized, but I just really felt like I needed to do more for the patients that were experiencing something like that. Like their own body was kind of betraying them, and that to me just like my heart hurt for them, especially since usually their mind was there. So I can't imagine like kind of just being attached to something that doesn't want to listen to me, you know? I mean, it's hard to just explain with words, but it's just my heart would always reach out to those patients, and I dealt with a lot of patients, so, and you know, all patients obviously should have a good doctor, but that's just what was calling me. But so anyways, back to full circle. I think that it's really good to go ahead and just go to the websites of the place you would like to get a residency, only because it's a great way to just skip all of the rumors. You know, like there's so many rumors out there where, oh, you're never gonna get a residency, you're never gonna get matched, you're never gonna whatever. And you know, you can go to the websites too for Ross or AUC, St. George, and all that, and check to see their residency match rate. But it's hard to really tell like if your specialty is matched well, whatever. So I just went to Cleveland Clinic. I went to like FIU, FAU, all of the places in Florida really, because that's where I would like to do my residency, just for example. And I looked at all of their residency programs, and a lot of them, especially for neurology, was Ross, St. George, or just any IMG like Puerto Rico. I mean, just about everywhere. And it seems like they really enjoy Spanish speakers, so that's why I have my little medical Spanish book ready. I'm gonna try to really tackle that. But yeah, so that's my advice. If you're really trying to pick a school and decide whether IMG is right for you, which I mean I can go further into whenever, like on a later video, if you want to say yes or no in the comments down below. Go ahead. But yeah, so I think that's the best way to really, and you know, maybe you can even go a little bit further, contact the people that you would really like to work with. Like, hi, I'm thinking about going to X. I'm thinking about going to these 3 schools. They're all IMG. Do you have a preference? I mean, that's what I emailed the coordinator for Cleveland Clinic, and I just said, you know, like, will this set me back, la la la, and what should I do in order to get a residency? And a lot of the things that she said was make sure you get that letter of rec, make sure you research, and so basically just get people to like you and try to do things within that hospital that you're trying to do your residency with, like really get your foot in the door. So after that, oh yeah, the biggest thing with Ross that made me really, really, really want to go, or just, you know, made me feel no doubt, was that they did do the IMF with Cleveland Clinic. So that is something that you will be applying with, or you should be like what sets you apart from just like, not just, but like, a regular IMG, international medical student, is the fact that you did all of your clinicals in the US. You did all the hands-on stuff in the US. You know what goes on just as any other medical student in the US did. So the good thing about Ross is that they do the IMF for 8 weeks. It keeps changing, it goes 6, 8, 12 or whatever, with Cleveland Clinic, and that's perfect. Like no matter what, at least you're going to get that. I personally, it depends on you, but I personally will have the opportunity to go ahead and get people to know me, show my face. Hi, this is me, this is what I'm like. I'm good at this. You can teach me about this. I am willing to work with you on this. I feel like they just want someone who isn't too cocky, who will listen, who, but is also adequate. Like they can do what they need to do. So that's what I'm hoping to really show within those 8 weeks. And then hopefully I can just be there for the first year where you're doing all of your foundations. But anyways, I guess kind of in conclusion, to sum all this up, I think it's very important when you are deciding the medical school that you think about, all right, first of all, how far is it? Do you want to visit home? I want to visit home. So what I did is I compared flights. I was like, okay, Grenada's here, Barbados is here. I didn't check the other one, but the flights were way less expensive for Ross, so that's even a consideration. Do I want to spend 2 years on an island? Or maybe you don't care about the island part, maybe you care about the book part. I cared about both. I would like to be back in the US, even though I have traveled a lot in the past and I have been in third world countries, so this is nothing compared to some of the places I've been. It's very Americanized with all the tourism, but say I really did not want to. If I could speed up the 2 years, I would. So that's what really made me super excited. And then 3, are they tied up with my, do they have good clinical rotations where I think that I could consider working there as a resident, and I can really get people to know me, get my foot in the door, maybe do research. Then yeah, I seem crazy to people because that was the first thing I did, was email the Cleveland Clinic coordinator and just said, hey, like, how do I get a residency here? How do I do it? That's what I want to know. But now I have my foot in the door. Whenever I get over there, I'm probably gonna be able to do research, or I wouldn't, because I actually, again, this is how crazy I am. I interviewed with them already for research, and they liked me. So it's basically a guarantee for just to do research, not like a residency, but they basically guaranteed that, when I do go, I can do some research, get my foot in the door, get the doctors to like me. And also my research would be with the residents. So it's kind of like the medical student will help the resident, because the resident needs to finish a research project. So I would be helping them with that. So, I would be acquainted with the residents, I'll be acquainted with the doctors, the faculty, everything. So that's really what it is. If you're gonna decide where you're gonna go, besides, picking IMG versus non-IMG, look at that. I also got a good scholarship with Ross, mostly because of my global outreach, kind of, with some volunteering, community health outreach. I did that within the community, and also when I went on medical mission trips. So I just appreciate that Ross was like, okay, you did a good thing, here you go. But yeah, so they handled quite a bit of my first semester, not so much the rest. But you save money. If you care about tuition also, it's about the same everywhere from what I've seen. Whenever I looked it up, and honestly it's always changing. They always like to add, it never goes down. They love to add like $1,000 here and there, and then you can't really do much about it. But that's everywhere. And I compared it with even public schools back in the US, and it really wasn't wavering too much. It wasn't really more or less anywhere. So, whatever is really important to you. Do you want to make sure that you get the residency that you want? Go ahead and email people like the residency coordinators. So yeah, if you really want that peace of mind, make sure that you go ahead and, well, this at least gave me peace of mind. So just advice, I guess, rather than make sure. But I felt a lot more at ease whenever I did email the places that I wanted to go, and I looked at their residencies rather than go online on Facebook and look at everything that people are saying, look at the statistics online, like, because it's very general, and also a lot of that, like the IMG information tends to be all of the international medical students rather than just like because it's, you know, you are a US citizen versus it's just the statistics are very varying. You know, if you're a non-US citizen, that makes it different from wherever you're trying to get a residency. Did you do your clinicals here? Like, there's quite a bit that will change. So that's why I didn't really trust the statistics online. I just made sure to kind of go straight to the source of where I would like to go. But yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I have a lot of words to say. I know that it was a little jumbled up, but I mean, all I can say is at the end of the day is that I'm very happy with where I am. I am almost halfway done with my time here, and not like, you know, time at Ross. I'm not halfway done being a medical student, but I am halfway done with my time in Barbados, which has been lovely, but it's been going by so fast, and I'm just happy that it's almost done, you know, and I've really enjoyed it. My expectations were so incredibly low. I don't know why it was so low. I mean, mostly because I didn't really do the research beforehand on the island. I did it on the school. So coming here and seeing how Americanized it is, it's just, and it's a really nice island, honestly. So if you're looking for a place to just kind of, the taxes are expensive, so I don't go out like ever. But if, you know, you're just trying to enjoy your weekend after an exam, very doable. Very much enjoy that.
It's gonna be fun to edit. Oh, look. Direct. Consensual.
Like and subscribe for more videos. Definitely gonna be making more, whether you like it or not.
Open up, shut it down like a Macintosh. Open up, open, cold as ice and cold.